Hey, what's up everyone? DJ Sterf here, and unfortunately the audio didn't record last time, so I'm going to get two trials on this, which is probably going to be more helpful, but I'm going to talk about power usage. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start the night, and I'm going to turn off the fan, and we're going to wait 30 seconds because ventilation is going to cut out at some point, and it's going to ruin the test. So I'm going to see what the power drainage is with 0 blocks of power being used, so basically just sitting here without the power generator on. If you have the power generator on, it treats it as -1 blocks basically, and you will use 0% power completely, like you just stay still, but the noise is very high level, okay? That's your give and take on that. So let's see, 24, so about 1% power every 12 seconds, and we're there. When is it actually going to turn? The 97?
He promised them to never.
97. All right, so about 35.4 seconds in, it goes to 97%. So you lose 3% power. All right, in 35.4 seconds. Let's keep the fan on, and this will be a nicer trial. So 3% lost in 35.4 seconds for the 0 blocks being used. So you're just sitting there. Remember, the power generator takes off 1 block of power usage, so if I turn the power generator on, it would treat it as though you were sitting there with 0% power being used. I think the 1% is pretty straightforward because every 3 seconds it's taking off 1% exactly. 8, 9, 0. Okay, so we're looking at 10% lost in 30 seconds because it was down to 90. 30 seconds is 10%. It's the same exact value as I had before. I'm going to shut one door for the 2 power blocks, and we're going to go 30 seconds. Ready? Okay. And the thing is, remember, this is not completely exact because I can't start the night with 2. And if I start a few seconds in, I won't have an exact percentage starting point. So that's what I'm working against here. So these are estimates, but I'm pretty sure these are going to be fairly round numbers. That tends to be what Scott uses in his formulas. So usually a pretty simplistic formula, decently thought out, but maybe not the most balanced. For example, Five Nights at Freddy's World, 30. All right, we're looking at about 22.2%. It's the same numbers as before, so this is good. 22.2% used in 30 seconds. Let's go 3 blocks. Let's keep DD away. Actually, it doesn't matter because DD shows up at 45. All right, ready? I'm going to close 2 of them. These are 3 blocks being used. And it becomes ridiculous after a point, but in some parts you're going to use up to 4 blocks of power, and it really drains your power. You notice that it's not linear, but it's not quite exponential either. It's more like a power function, I guess. A low power function, but we're going to put these down in a spreadsheet. Surprise! We're gonna add to the strategy spreadsheet some more. 29, 30. All right, so it's like 39.5 or 39.4% or something like that. I'm gonna say 39.4 in 30 seconds, just so I have something a little bit different in my data because it seems like it's not quite half. I'm gonna shut all 3. We're gonna have 4 blocks being used. All right. I love that those 3 responded right away. Sometimes I'm scared that not all 3 are going to register, so that's why I kind of like roll onto them when I'm playing. I'm just scared that they're not going to register, and if they don't register, then I'm not going to survive the night. I mean, one mistake and that's it. Rockstar Chico will be happy that I left the door open, or Mangle will jump in through the vent and be like, "Hey, it's party time. I want to be loud now." 29, 30. All right, so it's not quite 62. But it's like 61.8% or something like that being used. Is that right? Let's say it's about 62. It might have been on the other side. Might be too eager in getting different numbers here. I'm gonna turn on the monitor this time and all the doors. All right, so I'm using 5 blocks of power, which is insane. And you're going to lose almost 90% of your power in 30 seconds. So this is going to be pretty crazy. Basically, the game wants you to use 1 block of power as much as you can, and every now and then have something greater than that. But you're gonna have to average that one power block drains, so you're going to have to swap between, hold on, 30. All right, we're looking at like 80, 88 or 89%, 88.x%. Let's say 88.8. It might be 88.8. All right. And the thing is with ventilation, if ventilation shuts off and you have no animatronics there, and no one comes in, like Dee Dee doesn't come in, and like, how unfortunate, and then you're still sitting in the dark, you will sit there and survive the night, but it'll be a very boring night. I'm going to turn on everything and the flashlight. That's so many keys at once, but I'm using 6 blocks of power now. And we're just going to count how much time it takes for the power to run out, because you're not going to survive 30 seconds like this. And I've already tested this. The first power estimate percentage was, let's see, it ran out at 25.4 seconds. So it's running out very quickly. 25.5. 25.5, 100% of your power is gone. Yay! That's terrible power usage. So let's bring this over here, and there we go. These are the numbers I had from the first round. And one thing that I want to get across is you're going to want to use as little power as possible. The less you use, the better, and that's an understatement. So if you're using -1 blocks of power, basically you're only using a power generator and you're just sitting there with nothing else on, not even the fan. You lose 0% of your power. So if you're at the end of the night and you want to risk music box, or if the music box is charged and all that, and you just want to save power between 5 and 6 a.m., just turn on the power generator. If you use the fan plus power generator, you're going to drain 2.57% just about power in 30 seconds. And is that the number I got? 35.4. Let's do 30 divided by 35.4. 2.54. So I was thinking maybe this would be around 75% of your power being used. It's probably not. It's probably on the opposite side there. I don't really know on that one. Let's see. If you're using 1 block of power, you're going to use 10% of... okay, let's try this again. So if you're just sitting there, or if you have one thing on and the power generator, you're going to use 2.54% of your power in 30 seconds, which turns out you're going to use about 22% of your power the entire night and end up with 77% power left. If you have 1 block of power, so if you have 2 things running and a power generator, or if you have the power AC on and that's it, or just one thing, like one door closed but nothing else is on at all, that's going to burn 10% in 30 seconds, but that's going to leave you with 10% power by the end of the night, at the end of the night, okay? So you're going to use 90% of your power at that rate. And maybe that would be helpful as well. Let's just do... that's too much. Power used during the night. I like how that font carries over. It's great. Power used during the night at this level. So this one is going to be this times 9, because 30-second trial. Wow, that font though. And we're going to up the font to 24, and you can see it. All right. And let's just do that. Just make it 2 digits. 2 digits past the decimal point. All right, and yeah, that's fine right there. All right, and maybe I should word wrap this. Let's see how I word wrap this. Edit. Nope. Format. It's gotta be format. It's gotta be format. Text wrapping. Yeah, wrap. Yeah. All right, that's a lot better. That's a lot better. Let's do that. We're gonna wrap the header column here. All right. So format, text wrapping, wrap. Okay. And we're gonna make these a little bit thinner because I don't need all this space being used. Okay, cool. That looks a lot better. It looks tackier, but it's a lot better layout, I guess. Maybe. So excuse the layout, I guess. Let's see. Where's the vertical line? Let's make it center there. At least it's somewhat less tacky now. All right. Power usage. So power percentage at the end of the night, you're going to die if you're using 2 blocks average. So that's just that's a tragic part right there. Let me check, because someone posted early on, 8 days ago from today, and let's see, it was near edge, but he made a power drain chart, and let's see. Let me compare this with near edges as well. So this is the, oh, that wasn't it. Copy image. I paste. It didn't paste. Let me compare these numbers as well. 75. So maybe 75 exactly. This might be maybe 250 exactly. He had negative 251 here, and he had 75 here. That's where I'm not using exact numbers here. Like, I'm trying to eyeball it. Minus 99 is what he had here. I think 100 is probably what it's supposed to be. I think 250 is what this is supposed to be. He said 440 for this one, 671, and 980 for this one. So my numbers are fairly close there. I don't know if he's looking at the code or not, or I should say the action grid, because it's click team. It's not. It's pseudo code basically, but it's a drag and drop type of interface. Very easy to use. I was using click and play during the click and play era. That was way before Click Team Fusion. But I learned to program with QBasic, and then I went to Visual Basic. Then I went to, I did all sorts of languages in high school, and then college. We had to do all sorts of stuff. So a lot of C, C#, C++. I love C++. Those are some good memories. One time in C++ class, this is a side story, whatever. We had a bunch of work that we had assigned to us at the start of the semester, and was it semester or was it year? I think it was a semester. I think we changed it the semester. And was it? I think it was. Anyway, maybe I'm thinking too much of college. Maybe I think it had to be the year. It was a full year. It had to be the full year. So anyway, we got a bunch of work at the start of the year, the school year, and we had to just do that at our own pace. But then when we were done, there wasn't really anything else to do. So within the first, I think, 2 or 3 weeks, I finished all the work. And so I started making this 3D basketball program. Like I taught myself trigonometry and just sat down, learned it, and was like, okay, cool. So this is what sine, cosine, tangent all do in interaction. And then I made like depth, like calculations for the basketball size, and it was really cool. It was like you were standing there and you were shooting at this pre-drawn basketball goal, and then the basketball would interact with based on how heavy it was or how dead on it was or whatever. So there was some leniency, but he came around and was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm like, I'm just I'm making a 3D basketball game." And he's like, "Oh, that's cool, but you need to do your work." And I'm like, I'm already done with my work. And so then he's like, "Well, what?" And he's like, "Show me." And so I showed him all the labs. He's like, "All right, well, carry on." So the whole rest of the year we just made like fun stuff. That mess was fun. But anyway, that's my Click Team thing. Click Team was kind of a fun aside. It's a very quick drag and drop type interface. It's even easier than Kismet with Unreal and that type of thing. But it's so easy to use, so quick to make games. So anyway, these are the numbers you're looking at. You don't want to use 4, you don't want to use 5, you don't want to use 6 if possible. And so maybe revising my strategy a little bit as well is I just do AWD, so I close all 3 doors, and then I do S for the camera, then I click, and then I hit that S to close back the camera after resetting the ventilation, and then I flip backwards. So DWA, get rid of that. If I just use the 2 doors, and then so I go AWS and then click and then SWA, that uses 1 less block of power, which is dramatically less power used. And then you go back and you don't have the doors shut, so you can go back to generator or whatever. Another tip is if you can have your flips, and I know you can't control this all the time, but if you can do your flips when you have the power generator on, that's always for the better, because it treats it as 1 less block being used. And of course here you're not using You know, this isn't 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, or it's not 0. It's not 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, or whatever. This is 2.5, 10, 22 point whatever, probably somewhere around 40 here. 62, probably 62 and a half in all reality, because that would be 5/8. And then probably 90, probably 120, something like that. So you're looking at a ridiculous amount of power being used in just like no time flat. So, man, it's craziness. And let me revise this number because I averaged it out to 25.4, because this run was 25.5 just about when the power ran out. And again, these are trials with a little bit of plus minus, and that's where I'm getting these plus minus or whatever. So if you can actually see the action grid and get the numbers or whatever, that's a telltale sign. But this is at least a round numbers type of thing. So if you use 7.5 seconds of power AC, then 7.5 seconds of power gen only, you're going to be using this amount of power for a quarter of the 30 seconds that we use. So you're going to use 2.5% of the power during that time, and then you're going to be using 0 the rest of the way. So basically, you're using 2.5%, but then if you use 15 seconds of fan plus a power generator, you're cooling it down just as much, but then you're only using 1.27% power instead of 2.5% power during that chunk of time, because you're using half of this usage right here, because you're using 0%, because it's 1 used minus 1 from the power generator being on. All right, so you catch my drift. You're going to use the power generator and the fan when you can. If you can use a power generator when you do a cam flip, if you could just work it out like that, that'd be great. Also with the music box, you can watch my video on balancing and juggling the music box with the power AC and the fan and all that. Okay, so that also, remember, you're going to give the lion's share of the time to the music box. Even if you're doing it perfectly, you're going to want to give yourself more like a 16-14 split at very best. Because you're going to want the fan to be on at the 0.0s, the 15.0, 30.0, 45.0 every 15-second interval, just to keep Chica happy. And hey, it starts a new cycle for the music box, so then you can keep the puppet happy and as well Lefty. Keeping it cool as well is Lefty's thing, so keeping the room not hot preserves you, and Jacko Chica also stays away if the room is not hot. So if when Mon's not hot, then Jacko Chica stays away. But if you're hot, then yeah, you're probably going to get jump scared, especially if it's over 100 degrees or 99.5 or above or whatever, like I covered last video. Probably click team rounding there. But yeah, you're going to use the power AC when the room is scalding hot, and you just need to get your temperature down really quickly. But don't use that as your default. Let this be your default. So use this when you can, and let this be the emergency. Oh man, it's so hot, I don't know what to do. With the heater, you're going to heat up the room pretty quickly, so don't use the heater for too long. I would say probably 2 seconds is very generous, and if you're risky, maybe like 1.25 seconds. If you hear some thuds very quickly, that's likely Orville and Ned and maybe whoever's, I think Mr. Hippo's on the far right of that. Let's see. No, Pig Patch. I don't know that I've ever been jump scared by Pig Patch. It's usually a badly placed audio lure if Happy Frog for sure. But Mr. Hippo was just, like early on when I didn't understand the audio lure, I got those Mr. Hippo dialogues. And they were extremely long and painful to listen to as well. And the thing was, I was starting to talk to Mr. Hippo and respond to him, and I was kind of losing my sanity doing that. So, yeah, crazy. So anyway, it's going to be mostly Orville and Ned being sent back, and those are the main threats. If you can find a way to reliably shut the duct that Orville and Ned are gonna go to, but I don't think that's reliable, because they can either go left or right, and anytime I just watch the whole time, they either go right or left. It's just pretty random. So sometimes they're fooled by the lure, Ned half the time and Orville 10% of the time, but you can't predict what that's going to be. So there is some RNG with that as well. It's best just to use your heater before a major cam flip. And if you're flipping the camera again within about 20 seconds, you shouldn't even have to use the heater again. Fastest I've seen them run at me from scratch is 21.4, but again, that's also with the 2 seconds at the front of the night, which may also influence that. So 18 seconds maybe. If you've already done a heater and you heard the thuds, you're probably not going to use the heater again for a short cam flip. Say if Foxy's on the table, you gotta flip again really quickly. Just flip, so just AWS SWA, because you're gonna want to shut the left door to keep Freddy and Rockstar Chica out. And W to keep Mangle and the vent animatronics if they're sitting there from jump scaring you. Okay, so I'm hoping that helps, and that's a fairly straightforward and kind of rough numbers overview, and I'm glad the audio is actually picking up this time, because last time it didn't, and that was a real bummer. But that's about it. I'm going to put this on the strategy spreadsheet. Surprise! We're going to expand the strategy spreadsheet some more. Again, hoping that this is going to help someone. Basically, you're going to want to use as little power as possible. If you can refrain from closing all 3 doors, that's actually probably going to be a lot better. So I could save a lot of power by doing just that, just doing A, W, and then S, instead of AWD, and then mouse, and then click, and then mouse, and then undo the 3 and do the mask flip. So that's kind of the muscle memory I had going into the night. And it's a safe strategy, and I finished the night doing that. And if I didn't have the fan on at the end of the night too, I would have had much more than the power running out. Not, I guess, that much more, but probably around the 4% mark, starting at 5 a.m. I could have saved a lot of power that way. But I just wanted to get it done, so now we can work on optimization. If I want to go back to this, I really don't know if I have the gusto to do that right now, but at the same time too, I'm pretty sure I could just hammer that out. Something more optimized, basically, of a run. So power percentage remaining or something like that, but no guarantees on that. This game really wears on you, and it's good to be done. So anyway, I'm hoping that this helps. If this helped you out, that's great, and hey, maybe give me a shout out or something like that. But everyone who I've helped finish this night in any way, thank you so much for being a part of this and being intellectually honest in figuring out the dynamics to this game and the strategies. Because I still get comments from people saying like, oh, you didn't shut the mid vent and Springtrap was staring at you, and so thus it's fake, instead of saying, I wonder why he's not closing that mid vent, and then figuring out, hey, this free game, let me check out, can Springtrap just sit here? And you find out, yeah, that actually can happen. So going through, and I'm trying to show you tangible evidence of these things and how I reverse engineered so much of what I did. And everyone who's built on the strategy as well, and mentioning Sonic EA, Fast Dasher, let's see, and also Near Edge with this, just highlighting, hey, maybe I need to use a power generator a little more, that type of thing. But that's pretty cool. And also too, the coin mad dash that Daco added at the last 50-20 or whatnot, that was actually a really helpful part of the strategy as well. So everyone piecing it together. There are ways to test this stuff, and I hope you do, and I hope that we can build on this and make it more precise and all that. And yeah, that's about it. So thanks everyone for watching. I guess another note too, if those people I think are probably never going to finish the night because they're hung up on thinking they know exactly how the night works without even knowing or trying it out. But you being here and actually wondering about these things, if you're just watching because you're interested in the numbers, that's cool. But if you're trying to beat the night as well and you're looking at these numbers, this is only going to help you, okay? So, and if these numbers aren't quite exact, these are pretty much ballpark. There's some plus and minus in here because I've done 2 trials of this myself, and then they're pretty close to the numbers that Near Edge posted a while back. But without looking at the code or the definition there, the action grid on ClickTeam, yeah, you're not going to know the exact numbers. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching, everyone. Peace. God bless you. And there are going to be more strategy videos to come. And probably the next one will be on cam stalling through the entire series of Five Nights at Freddy's. That's not a new strategy, and that's a line that Scott actually programs in. So I wouldn't say that something he programmed in is a glitch, and I'm going to cover that. So anyway, that's about it. And that's it. Yeah, again, bye. Have a good one.